In the UK at the moment, children are making rainbows of hope, and they're making them by drawing them, colouring them in, and then sticking them in the windows for the world to see. They're using chalk and crayons and drawing them on pavements. They're cutting them out of cardboard and using any materials in the house that they can find, and then hanging these little rainbows on trees for everyone to see. And the reason for it is to remind us to have hope, because it's not always going to be like the way it is at the moment, and things will get better. So I thought it would be perfect to show you how to make your little rainbow of hope that you can hang in your window, on a tree outside your house, and remind passerbyers that this will end and to have hope. To make my rainbows of hope, I have used DK cotton yarn and a 3.5mm hook. You can use whatever yarn you have in the house, just make sure you use the hook that is specified with the yarn. Now you can make these as big or as small as you want, and you can make them in any colours that you want and change the colours at any time. Do what you want, but just make sure if you do make these, upload a picture onto Instagram with the hashtag Teenie Crochets so I get to have a look at them too. So to begin with your first colour, I'm going to begin with a light blue colour. I'm going to slip knot onto hook. And now I'm going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. If you're working with cotton yarn, make sure to crochet loosely because the fibres of the yarn open up really easily and you don't want to split the yarn with your hook. So I've got 2 single crochets, and into the second chain from hook, I'm going to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And at the end of this row, I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. For this next row, I'm going to do 2 single crochets into every stitch across. So 1 and 2 into the first stitch, 3 and 4 into the second stitch, 5 and 6 into the third stitch, 7 and 8 into the last stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1 and fasten off with this yarn. Now you're going to bring in your second colour, and to add the colour I'm going to do a slip knot onto my hook and into the last stitch of the last round, because we've turned our work. I'm going to insert my hook into that stitch. With both yarn tails I'm going to hold them between my hook and my working yarn so I can weave them in with the next couple of stitches. I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop, so I have 2 loops on my hook. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through both of these loops. So I have added my new colour whilst doing my first single crochet, and I'm also going to single crochet these 2 tails between my work for about 4 stitches, just so I don't have to weave them in at the end. So for this next row, we're going to single crochet into 1 stitch and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch, and we're going to do that 3 times. So we single crochet for 1, increase in the next stitch for 2 and 3. Then we're going to single crochet for 4. I'm going to drop them yarn tails now because I've weaved them in enough. Now I'm going to increase in the next stitch for 5 and for stitch number 6. Then we're going to single crochet for number 7 and increase in the next stitch for 8 and 9. And then in the last 2 stitches we're just going to single crochet into each of them. We don't want to do an increase in the last stitch because it'll create too many stitches and our rainbow will start to look too much like a horseshoe, and we want it to be straight at the bottom. So we're going to leave 1 stitch out and we're just going to do a single crochet into each of the last 2 stitches. And we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. For this next row, I'm going to single crochet into 2 stitches and then do 2 single crochets into the next stitch, and I'm going to do that 3 times. So I'm going to single crochet for 1 and 2, increase in the next stitch for 3 and 4, single crochet, 5 and 6, increase in the next stitch for 7 and 8, single crochet, 9 and 10, increase in the next stitch for 11 and 12, and in the last 2 stitches of this round we're going to single crochet into the first stitch, and I'm going to do 2 single crochets into the final stitch of this round. There we go. Then I'm going to chain 1 and fasten off with this yarn. For our next row, I'm going to introduce a new colour again. We're going to introduce a new colour every 2 rows on this rainbow, but remember you can introduce as many new colours as you want wherever you want. And if you're having difficulty following this pattern, there is a link in the description box to the free written pattern that you can download. So I'm going to slip knot onto hook, and in the stitch that we fastened off from, I'm going to introduce this new colour. So insert my hook into stitch, put the tails of both yarns in between my hook and my working, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So there are 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both of these loops. So we've attached our first single crochet with the colour. So for this row we're going to single crochet into 3 stitches and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch. We're going to do that 3 times. So I've done my first single crochet, so I'm going to continue to single crochet for 2 and then single crochet for 3. Now I'm going to increase in the next stitch for stitch number 4 and 5, and now I can drop these yarn tails. Now I'm going to single crochet for stitch number 6, single crochet for stitch number 7 and single crochet for stitch number 8, and now increase in the next stitch for 9 and 10, single crochet for 11 and 12 and 13, increase in the next stitch for 14 and 15. Now we have 3 stitches remaining. I'm going to single crochet into 2 stitches, single crochet into 2 stitches, and into the last stitch of this round I'm going to do 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. Then I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. For the next row I'm going to single crochet into 4 stitches and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch 3 times. So single crochet for 1, 2, 3 and 4, increase in the next stitch for 5 and 6, single crochet, 7, 8, 9 and 10, increase in the next stitch for 11 and 12, single crochet, 13, 14, 15, 16, increase in the next stitch for 17 and 18. Then to end this row we're going to single crochet into 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3. Ooh. Do 2 again, 1, 2 and 3, and into the last stitch of this round we're going to do 2 single crochets into that last stitch, chain 1, fasten off with this colour. Time to add a new colour again, so I'm going to slip knot onto hook, insert hook into first stitch, put yarn tails in between hook and working yarn over and pull up a loop, so there are 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through both of these loops. So we've done our first single crochet, and for this next row we're going to single crochet into 5 stitches and then do 2 single crochets into the next stitch, and we're going to do that 3 times. So single crochet for 1, and now single crochet 2, 3, 4 and 5. I'm going to drop them yarn tails now, then increase in the next stitch for 6 and 7. Get more yarn, single crochet, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 again, 12, increase in the next stitch for 13 and 14, single crochet, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19, increase in the next stitch for 20 and 21. Now we're going to single crochet into 4 stitches and then do 2 single crochets into the final stitch of this round. So single crochet into the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and into the last stitch of this round we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, chain 1 and turn our work. For the next row we're going to single crochet into 6 stitches and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch 3 times. So single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, increase in the next stitch for 7 and 8, single crochet, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and into the next stitch increase for 15 and 16, single crochet, 17, 18, 19 and 20, 21 and 22, increase in the next stitch for 23 and 24, and now we're going to single crochet into the next 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and into the last stitch of this round I'm going to do 2 single crochets into that stitch, 1 and 2. Then we can chain 1 and fasten off. So I don't know whether you've realised, but the last section of every part is just 1 stitch less than the previous 3. So on that last row we single crocheted 6, did 2 single crochets, single crocheted 6, did 2 single crochets, single crocheted 6, 2 single crochets, and then for the final part we single crocheted 5 and did 2 single crochets, and just that one last stitch is going to make our rainbow straight. If we just had 1 stitch at the end of every single piece, the rainbow starts to, let me see if I can show you, the ends of the rainbow start to hang down like this. So just skipping that 1 stitch is going to make our rainbow nice and straight. Time for a new colour again. Slip knot onto hook, insert hook into stitch, yarn tails between hook and working yarn over, pull up a loop, so there are 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through both of these loops. So for this next row we're going to single crochet 7 and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch 3 times. So we've already done our first, so let's continue to single crochet for 2, 3, 4, 5, drop them tails, 6 and 7, increase in the next stitch for 8 and 9, single crochet, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16, increase in the next stitch for 17 and 18, single crochet, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, increase in the next stitch for 26 and 27, and then we are going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and into the last stitch of this round 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, chain 1 and turn our work. For the next row we're going to single crochet into 8 stitches and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch 3 times. So single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, increase in the next stitch for 9 and 10, single crochet 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18, increase in the next stitch for 19 and 20, single crochet 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, increase in the next stitch for 29 and 30, and now single crochet into the next 7 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's do that again, 5, 6 and 7, and into the last stitch of this round 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, chain 1 and fasten off. The next colour is going to be the last colour I'm going to be doing for this rainbow. So as you can see, what I've been doing is getting 1 stitch bigger each time. You can keep going and make this rainbow as big as you want, but I'm only going to do 1 more colour change on mine. So I'm going to add my new colour the same way I have done all the others. And for this next row we're going to single crochet 9 and do 2 single crochets into the next stitch 3 times. So single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, drop my tails, 6, 7, 8 and 9, increase in the next stitch for 10, for 10 and 11, single crochet 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. Increase in the next stitch for 21 and 22. Single crochet 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 and 30, 31. An increase in the next stitch for 32 and 33. Now we're going to single crochet into the next 8 stitches. So single crochet for 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 and 40, 41, and into the last stitch we're going to do an increase for 42 and 43. Chain 1 and turn our work. The next round is going to be our final round, and we're not going to do any increases on it. But what we are going to do on this round is we are going to add a loop so we can hang our rainbow. So it will look, it will look something like this. So we obviously want this loop to be in the centre of our work. So we currently have 43 stitches, and you can't half 43. So I'm going to half 42 instead. So if I single crochet half of 42, which is 21, I should end up somewhat in the middle up here. So for the next row, I've chained 1, turned my work, and I'm going to single crochet into the first 21 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20, 21. Now into the next stitch I'm going to do 1 single crochet, and now I'm going to chain 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. And then I'm going to single crochet back into the same stitch. And now I'm going to single crochet to end. Last stitch, chain 1, cut my yarn. There we go. So the next thing I want to do before I do all my tassels is to cut off all of these tails. And because we've already weaved them in, we don't have to do any extra work. So if I zoom you in, you can see that these tails are already woven in 4 stitches. So I just need to go to the bottom of them and cut them off. And the only 2 tails that we have left to weave in are the beginning tail and the end tail, because we didn't have anything else to weave them in with. So with my embroidery needle, I am going to have to manually weave them in. There we go. Now to make the tassels for the bottom. So our tassels, every colour end is going to have a tassel, and all the tassels are going to have 5 strands in. So both ends of this purple here, for example, is going to have a tassel with 5 strands in, which means we need 10 strands of every colour, because we're going to do 2 tassels in every colour. So starting from the centre, you need to find yourself something that's about 4.5, 5 inches wide. So I'm using my notebook. You're going to take the coloured yarn and wrap it around whatever you have 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Then I'm going to cut the yarn and cut across the bottom. So we have 10 strands of yarn. Split them into 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And now we can make our tassels. So with my crochet hook, I'm going to insert my hook front to back on the rainbow. Make sure you always do it the same way through the whole thing. So whether you go front to back or back to front, just do it on every colour. I'm going to bend one of these sections of tassels or yarn in half, hook it onto my hook and pull it through my rainbow. I'm then going to open up the loop at the top of the yarn. I'm going to pass these tails through the yarn and then pull tight to create a tassel. So let's do that again. So on the next part of the colour, I'm going to insert my hook front to back. I'm going to bend the yarn in half, hook it onto my hook and pull through my rainbow. I'm then going to open the loop at the top of the yarn and pass the tails through the loop and then pull tight to secure. So our first 2 tassels are done and we can cut them to size now. So we want them to be nice and neat and the same length obviously. So I'm just going to pull them down and trim them. Now on to the next 2 colours. So our next colour is the light purple. And there you have the completed hope rainbows. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. It's free and it really helps me out. And remember, you can make these in any sizes, so here's a bigger one that I made earlier. Now don't forget to be kind to people during this time. We're all going through this together and we'll all come out of it together at the end. So just stay positive, put your rainbows of hope in the window and remind other people not to lose hope. So other than that, I hope you have a lovely weekend. Stay safe, stay home, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.